All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to One-on-One, another exciting live streaming event here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant. My name is Joshua Snyder. I'm the booker here at Flappers Comedy Club and Restaurant, and every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time. Sorry, Pacific Daylight Time. I forgot the time of year we were at. I hope to invite a really awesome comedian who's performed at Flappers. I could, I suppose, also interview a comedian who's never performed at Flappers, who I would like to get to perform at Flappers. You'll probably not see me interview a comedian who I don't want to perform at Flappers, or anyone who is wrong, evil, and bad, which this comedian is certainly not. My other goal is to make the introduction to this live stream as awkward as possible, and I'm winning. So this comedian, he has performed at Flappers, I think almost from the beginning, possibly from the beginning. We're about to find out. And tremendously funny and witty, and also has a show called Adam Cuts Fruit. Adam Cuts Fruit. Saturdays, 6 p.m. at presumably Pacific Daylight Time. If not, he'll correct me. On Facebook Live, Adam Cuts Fruit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Adam Feuerberg.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
There you are.
There I am. Yes. Did they just see my big smiling mug? Was that the only thing that was showing?
Nothing was showing. It was pure nothingness. Okay.
Good. Well, at least I think this is definitely a much more improvement over nothing. Definitely, for sure.
Now, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to pull up the chat here.
Okay.
And now what's happening is that whenever I'm going through that thing, wherever I want to find the app, I can't find the app.
Use the search function. Always use the search function. I don't even bother trying to find where my apps are on my phone anymore. Too many pages, too many apps, too long.
I used to think that I was pretty tech savvy, and I still am mostly tech savvy, but I'm finding the older I get, there's a part of me that's like, or I could just die. What if I just stopped? What if we just stopped? I don't know. I don't know what.
It would solve all your tech problems, that's for sure. They'd all go out the window. You're fine after that.
I don't know why the Gmail filter is not sending the message that I wanted to send. Why it's not filtering. Nothing filtering. Kill me. So, Adam, first of all, what was the first time you performed at Flappers?
Probably around the time that it started, sometime in the fall of 2010. I actually got to start helping to run their Thursday shows. I think around November of that year, October or November. But it opened, the first weekend was September, I think. So probably about a month or two after it opened, I started there.
I gotcha. And did you know Barb and Dave before that?
I did, yeah. I knew them from doing Uncle Clyde's when they were doing it over at the Ice House for a long time. So that's where I first met them. And, always worked with them. I actually helped them a little bit. They were good to me and put me up in their room that they had at a spot called Michael's in Burbank on Tuesdays. And every once in a while, I'd pop in and help out, like maybe produce it, or they put me up sometimes. It was cool. Yeah, I've known these guys for a long time.
Gotcha. And how long have you been doing stand-up?
It'll be 13 years in December. December 21st, 2007.
The big 1-3. I don't know what you get. What do you get a comedian who's been doing it 13 years? Drugs of some kind, I would think.
Yeah, I might do like a half Torah on acid, maybe at some point to celebrate it. Just merge the two worlds.
13 years, wow. I'm at about 10, so I didn't. So we're mostly the same amount of time, except not.
By about 3 years, but what's the difference? It's all relative. Yeah. Time is just the thing. Keeps moving. Right. You can't stop it.
Actually, there's two things you need to know before we go any further. Number one, you are a lovely person, and this is.
I thank you. You are as well, Josh. This is why I wanted to have this conversation. It's good to see you.
And this has nothing to do with you when I say this, but you have to understand that right before I started this, I had no desire to do this.
I mean, it's a perfect way to not do something on a Friday afternoon. I can't blame you for feeling that way. Why do anything, especially at 5 o'clock on a Friday? But what the hell? Like I said, it's good to see you. So
yeah, no, well, yeah, and it's good to see you too. And like I said, this is and it's funny, as I mentioned, I'm looking at the number of people who are watching this, and it's fluctuating between 4 and 5 right now, which is
listen, I'm not gonna knock it. Like the chances of anyone tuning into anything is so slim. There's 5 people that are the best in the world. That's all I gotta say.
I think pretty soon. Here's my prediction, by the way, and I predict this in 5 to 10 years. There are going to be people out there who are paid to just watch things because everyone will be streaming, and there will be, like, if you have 2 audience members, you're like killing it in the Nielsen's. That's what it's going to be like.
Right. No, listen, we already kind of do that for, like, you know, audience fill-ins. Well, that used to be a thing until that went away. There were no more audiences. But before, there were audience fill-ins. So that is a thing. It kind of already is a thing. It will go, eventually it'll all go digital. We'll have to consume as much as we put out, you know? We'll have to, like, it'll have to be like a simple balance.
Yeah, well, it'll be like jury duty, you know, for 2 weeks of the year, you'll be forced to watch other people's live streams to give them.
The irony, if you were assigned to judge shows, like you had to watch judge shows, and it was considered jury duty. Dumb joke connection that I wanted to make.
What are you drinking?
Just water. It's getting pretty hot outside. I'm over in Encino. It's hot as hell already, and it's supposed to be horrible this weekend. So I'm making sure I drink plenty of water before I shrivel out this weekend.
Okay. Filtered, non-filtered. Is it one of the, was that the alkali? How's your alkali count in the water? How's it going?
Listen, I don't like to drink my water unless it tastes like metal. It has to be metal, all metal. I need that metal taste. So I fish it out of the LA River, most of it. You know, it's pretty solid. And it's a good like gamey. Is it good to call water gamey?
Yes, it is when you do it. The LA River, boy, you know, you a Miyazaki fan, you know, the Spirited Away and
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's all on what is that? I just watched Princess Mononoke again recently.
Yeah, I just remember in Spirited Away. Now I don't know. I don't know what this means, but we literally went from 8 people to 1 as soon as I mentioned Miyazaki. I don't know if that was people going, oh right, I gotta watch Spirited Away.
Fine. The only real fan. That person's the only real fan anyway. So whoever you are, number 1, we love you. Miyazaki, let's go.
I just remember the scene in Spirited Away where they're cleaning out the river. And they're pulling all this mud out, and then the river's better, and it gave her the medicine ball that she could later use to da-da-da-da-da, because I just feel like if the LA River walked into that magical bathhouse, it wouldn't survive. It would be dead on arrival.
That would be into the spirit.
Is the LA River still a river?
Was it ever legitimately a river? Or was it always just like a duct that just collected water every 50 years?
I like to take late night constitutionals, and I happened to cross an LA River, and I noticed there was plaque.
Remind me, what is a constitutional? Just fill me in.
I think that's just what 19th century rich white men called a walk.
Phil, I always slept through Dickens, so you have to fill me in.
That's how you knew you'd made it in the 19th century. You don't take a walk, you take a constitutional. And I saw this plaque near the LA River that was commemorating diverting the river. Because apparently, I guess at one point they were having a problem with boulders or things. The river was a problem for someone at one point, to the point where they absolutely destroyed it now.
Oh, wow. So they made it worse.
Well, it's plaque worthy.
We commemorate the day that we decimated the environment. It made a few bucks at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. Anytime I see a bird in that river, I'm thinking, is this how you commit suicide? Is this?
Yeah, he could have flown anywhere. He chose to flow there. Something's wrong in that bird's life. I feel sorry for him.
Am I about to watch a bird
My
melt?
dog is freaking out. Fritzy's freaking out. So every time around this time every day, between 5 and 6 o'clock, there is a squirrel outside, and he just wants to murder it. I can just see it in his eyes.
Are we talking about a dog or a cat?
My dog.
Your dog, okay.
But he has this look of like, I have to get it. I have to get this thing. He's going to come up to me and ask me to do it.
Uh-huh.
We're not going to let him do it. He's going to kill that squirrel. I can't. He has the look of pure innocence in his face, and he's willing to throw it all away over a squirrel.
Well, it's the millions of years of instinct.
It is. It's an animal instinct. Yes, it is.
He has the instinct to do that. I have the instinct to curl up in the fetal position. What can you do?
See, that's the thing. In the real world, I'm the squirrel in that equation. I'm the squirrel. That's what scares me about that. Fritzy's supposed to be the squirrel. And in this case, no, he is the predator. And like, I don't want to see what it looks like. He has to remain pure.
What kind of dog is he?
He's Maltese mix. We think he's mixed with a poodle, but we're not really sure. He looks like a Maltese, but maybe not. He's definitely not just Maltese though, because it's his fur. It's like Maltese is like as white as like the fur can get. He's a little, not quite, but yeah, he's Fritzy's the best. He's the best. He's kept us. We got him in January, and he's really kept us really good company at this time of year. It's really amazing.
I think. By the way, Stu Kosh is watching. Hi, Stu. How are you? And he, Stu Kosh is saying, Squirrel Master, which I think could be the name of your comedy special.
The Master of Squirrels.
Yes.
I could make that work.
Here's why I like that your dog is a Maltese poodle mix. Here's what I appreciate about that.
What's that?
I just see a Maltese and a poodle looking at each other, and they're both thinking at the same time, we're not going to do any better.
Listen, those are two good dog breeds. They should be happy with what they have. Just be happy that there's someone there in your life that cares about you.
Well, they say the poodles are the smartest of the dogs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, because you're not a poodle. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? All right, but let's. Yes. Oh, so look, what has comedy been like for you since the pandemic? Are you doing a lot of Zoom shows? How are you dealing with your depression? Go.
Well, I definitely will say that I'm watching a lot more TV, consuming a lot more media. In terms of performing comedy, I know that there are people like doing outdoor shows, and power to them. I'm not really there yet to like go like around a big crowd of people for a long time. But in terms of Zoom shows, I've done them, not as frequently as I would have said. Like, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where like there was a mic every night within 5 or 10 minutes from here. That kind of environment. That's gone for now. And yeah, I've done some Zoom stuff. It's not as frequent. It's maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, whereas before it was 3, 4, maybe 5 nights a week if I had extra free time. But yeah, it's definitely diminished. And in terms of how I deal with the depression, well, it hasn't stopped me from writing. Like I would say I've been writing more, which has been good. Not performing it as much though. So that's one thing I could probably do better. But
your set, by the way, I think at the sci-fi show was fantastic.
That was a really fun one. Yeah, the Star Trek one, that was great. Yeah,
yes.
I mean, Star Trek is always going to inspire me. I've always
Speaking of which, thoughts on Lower Decks?
I love it. I've watched all the episodes. I think it's great. A comic, I don't know if you know him, but Garrick Bernard's a writer on the show. I didn't know that. I learned that. He was posted about it on Instagram. I was like, oh man, it's so awesome. I watched every episode. I think it's great. So I've had a lot of fun with it. It's nice that there's a show about just like people serving on like the ship again, but I love the premise. That's my favorite thing about it. Just we've never had a show that focuses on like the new people. And also I love the idea that this isn't like an adventuring ship. This is like a second rate. Like you hear about the ships with like freighters, but the freighter still has a person of a captain's rank. So like, what do they do? Like, it's clearly far more boring than being on the outstretches of the universe. So it's kind of interesting to see those stories too. I
think what I like about it is because it's animated, I think they can do more with the aliens.
Yes. Yeah. Like immediately they brought back that cat alien race from the animated series. I think the Doctor is the cat race person.
Yep.
And it's great. I'm so I think it's awesome. I wish they did that more with the live action, like went even crazier with the costume design, but I don't know. Animation's pretty good too.
Yeah, I think the live action. I'm gonna I don't know. Maybe this opinion is gonna really cause the 6 people watching to.
Is it gonna go back down to 1?
But I like my Star Trek series on a budget. I like it when they don't have a ton of money because it forces them, then instead of having a giant space battle, they have to have a conversation between Patrick Stewart and another British actor of equal caliber.
By the way, I loved that. Did you watch Picard?
Yes.
Yes, I loved I'm not gonna spoil anything, but to your point, love the ending, and then I'll leave it at that.
Yes, I did too. And they were, they were on a budget. I didn't realize it, but like I saw a production still of, when she's standing on the Romulan ship, and they brought back the shoulder pads. Romulan shoulder pads.
See, someone's listening.
Thank you. Rockin'.
The Romulans are the aliens from the 80s. They are like clearly the 80s aliens, always like ready to go. Even with how they were portrayed in the 60s, those were 80s fashion.
It's always 1980s somewhere in the universe.
Right.
But I saw a production still of when she was on her ship, on the Romulan ship, and it was literally, there was no set. It was a giant green screen. She was standing there, and then her one officer was standing behind her on a box, and everything else was
like
a
everything
video
else
game.
Is green screen. Yeah. And that's that's how we're all going to get our like big budget action films in a couple of years.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is how. All right. So, okay, doing that. Literally the 2 things I wanted to talk about, we covered, which was and stand up during the pandemic. Perfect. All right. What are you working on? What are some is there a
you mentioned I do Adam Cuts Fruit, which is a show that I started. Man, it's going to be almost 4 years since I started that show with Rachel. We did that. The first one, it was, by the way, it's a show where I cut a piece of fruit, and it might be a difficult piece of fruit. I've done dragon fruit. I've done pineapple more than once. Sometimes I go the easy route. I've definitely cut an apple, definitely cut strawberries. But the point is basically I'm going to do something stupid. And the more dangerous the fruit, I make jokes about how I might cut my fingers off. But the idea is I do this one simple task. My wife watches and holds the phone and comments and makes fun of me because I'm usually doing a terrible job. And we talk about what's going on, and we talk about like maybe a show that I have coming up. And the first one that we did was New Year's Day of 2017. I remember we went to the grocery store, and I wanted to get a package of pineapple. And Rachel said, it's like $5 more than just buying the pineapple. Just buy the pineapple and cut the pineapple up. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And Rachel told one of her friends, and her friend said, you're never cutting that pineapple. That pineapple is staying together. You're going to end up throwing it out in a week. And so we said, not only are we going to cut this up, we're going to show everybody.
We're going to document the experience
on live video for all of our friends to see, the thousands of Facebook friends that we have. We're just going to let everybody know. And we did it. And it was a lot of fun. And we did it one-off like every so long. But we brought it back, obviously, for, COVID times because we're just hanging out. More time to do it.
I gotcha. Okay. Have you tackled a pomegranate?
Not yet. You're the second person to ask that. I got a cantaloupe for this weekend's episode because Rachel wants cantaloupe. But you know what? Next week, I'm going to say it right now. You hear it here first on the Flapcast, everybody. On Adam Cuts Fruit next weekend, we're cutting a pomegranate. We're going to prepare it. It's going to happen.
I was doing temp work several years ago, and I bought a whole pomegranate, but I didn't know what it was. And so I'm sitting there at the front desk trying to cut this pomegranate. The guy who owns the company walks in and looks at me like, "The hell are you doing?" because I didn't if you don't know what a pomegranate is before you go into the pomegranate, it's like Custer leading his troops. It's like I didn't know.
Nope.
You're
unprepared.
And I feel horrible, by the way, that I just compared cutting a pomegranate to one of the worst massacres in history. No, it wasn't. It wasn't one of the worst.
You could run for president.
White people died.
Kind of platform.
Wait, you could say?
I said you could run for president on that kind of platform.
Oh no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't make a good president because I have doubts. I second guess myself. It's no. I've got to be able to just make a decision and then never be wrong
forever.
Correct. But I don't want this to get too political. All right. So pomegranates. All right. So what is your favorite fruit?
Oh, my favorite fruit is an orange. I like oranges. I like bananas too. Those are probably my two favorites. I usually have at least one of those, if not both, for breakfast.
Okay. The orange I get. The banana, I disagree.
Really? You don't like potassium?
It's not that I hate bananas. A banana for me is never at the top of any list.
For me, it's easy to hold. Like, it's a convenient fruit. It comes with its wrapper. I like that. I like fruits that come with a wrapper that I can still there's no mess. You eat the banana, you hold the peel, toss out the peel. Done.
Yeah. But if you're on a desert island and you have a choice between a banana and an orange, you're telling me you're going to go with the banana?
It's a good question. I probably have to pick the orange because of the juice.
There you go. You see,
but I like a banana. I'm not gonna lie, I like a banana.
The banana, you know what? The banana is like the whatever that sitcom was in between Seinfeld and Friends in the 90s.
The one that got replaced every year?
Yes, and it's not like they weren't bad shows, but it was
they weren't as popular as the two most popular shows in the history of TV.
Correct. Yes, that is what the banana is.
You got screwed.
Nothing wrong with it. The packaging is good. It's in between Friends and Seinfeld. I'll stick around for it.
Right. No one ever did.
That's
no one ever did.
So it's actually not the right metaphor. All right. You've poked a hole in my theory. So when did you and your wife meet? How did that happen? What the hell happened?
We met in January of 2015. We met online. We met on a Jewish dating app.
Which one?
JSwipe.
JSwipe.
Yeah, JSwipe. Tinder for Jews, they call it.
Tinder for Jews. Okay. Now the guy who created Tinder was Jewish, so one could argue that Tinder is also a Jewish dating website.
Well, you could argue that the Jews run the online dating system. You know what I mean? Like you could. This is where we get into the realm of conspiracy theory. The Jews run all the online dating sites.
So JSwipe.
I would say yes. That's 100% true. My favorite story about JDate and JSwipe. JSwipe got sued by JDate, the other dating website, because they felt like they had claim over the use of the letter J. And they resolved by merging. It is the most Jewish. That's the most Jewish thing ever. Have you ever heard? I feel like they had a rabbi in common or something. That he came between them and helped them solve their differences.
Adam, not only is that the most Jewish thing ever, every step of that story is the most Jewish.
It gets Jewier as you keep going along with it, right? There's another level.
That involved Jews at all echelons of society. Yeah. The lawyers, the theologians, just everything there. The entire Jewish community had to come together on that one.
Right. A lot of donations.
So who swiped for now? Is this who chooses? Do you both have to agree on each other, or is it like Bumble where the woman has to choose the guy, or?
No, it's you both swipe and you that you have a match. It's like matching on Tinder. You both swipe at the right direction, and if you both swipe each other, they let you know.
Okay.
And
what on your profile was a lie?
Well, I think that was why I didn't get a girl for so long, is that I don't think that there was one. And so it took someone really special to deal with all that truth. So, let's see. I remember there was a picture of me with an octopus doll on my head, like an octopus beanie baby, and I called it my octupay. So there was that, and that was, maybe she felt like that was not honest, or maybe it was truthful. I don't know, but yeah. So Rachel, actually, we had swiped on each other more than once. She had actually, and I felt like this was actually a line in my my speech in my wedding, was that it was almost like I was converting to Judaism in a way, because she had unswiped me, and then I swiped with her again, and then she did it a second time. She had to turn me down twice to say yes a third time, which is a tradition in Judaism. You have to, if you want to convert, a rabbi has to shoot you down twice and then say yes on your third ask. You have to ask.
Really?
Yeah.
I learn new things about Judaism every day. I mean, the only thing I know about Judaism is I have the face.
Listen, no one's asking you about that face. You know what I mean? That's confirmed. We already know.
So in other words, if I'm not Jewish, but I want to be Jewish, I want to convert. Yes. I go to a rabbi. I have to ask him once. He says no.
Yes.
I ask him again. He says no. And then I ask him a third time, and he says yes.
That's correct.
Ay vey.
It's really needy. It's really a needy thing, isn't it?
It's like they build the codependency into the ritual.
Right, but you see, the opposite is like missionaries and like, conquering and like forcing. So it's like you either apply some kind of force to your religion, or you make people beg.
Yeah, it's
and really, which is worse? Which is worse?
And look who has the bigger numbers.
Well, one plays offense and one is passive aggression. So
right. You shouldn't be a Jew.
No.
Well, okay.
I think so.
Oh, crazy. All right. So now why J-Swipe to begin with? Was it important to you to find somebody who was Jewish, or was it, one of several apps that you were on, or was there not even any thought to it? It was just, I'll try this.
I always got along well with Jewish girls. Like, that was just always kind of like a good avenue for me. Okay. You have a little bit of success, you stick with what works. You know what I mean? So.
Okay. And did you when you grew up, were you very religious, sort of religious, or was it just, kind of like my household, where we had a Hanukkah tree at Christmas, and the sum of my Hebrew education was my mom saying, "Do you want to go on Saturdays?" And I said, "No." "All right, you're not going."
Yeah, I grew up in a pretty religious household. I went to Hebrew school, like actually Hebrew day school. So half my classes were Jewish related. And I did that until I was 13. We went to synagogue all the time on Saturdays. My brother, my sister, and I were bar mitzvahed. I went when I was in high school. I was in like a youth group in high school, and went to Israel with that group for the summer, like with kids from around the country, but the same youth group. It was regionally based. Like when we went to conventions, we go for within our region, which was Texas and I think New Orleans, and I think Oklahoma as well. And yeah, we went to Israel, but I really have to say that I've kind of admittedly fallen off in adult life. Not nearly as committed as I was before, but why was I drawn to J-Swipe specifically? I don't know, man. I always liked Jewish girls.
Full circle. Israel. So you were in Israel. Is it pretty much Los Angeles, but with bombs?
Well, it depends on Tel Aviv, yeah, 100%. Tel Aviv, yes. Jerusalem is a little bit more buttoned up than that, for sure. Take themselves way more seriously. That's for damn sure.
But more bombs in Tel Aviv?
Not that here's the thing. I don't remember anything going on. I haven't been there in almost 20 years. I went in 2001, before my senior year of high school. So it's been almost 20 years, and everything was relatively fine then. But yeah, definitely. I haven't been in so long, so couldn't tell you what it's like now.
Did you go to the beach?
Oh yeah, absolutely, we did. Absolutely. When we were in Tel Aviv.
How does the Israeli beach compare to the Los Angeles beaches? Which beach, if you had to choose one? If you
here's the thing.
Desert island with a beach.
Oh man, I don't know if anything can be like Hermosa Beach on a weekday. It's just like that wide open space. But here's the thing: the water is far less salty on this side of the ocean. You know, the Dead Sea. It's just like it is like pure salt, and that's how you float.
Ah, I see. It's ominous that it's called the Dead Sea, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. You cover yourself in like mud that's good for your skin. You float in the very, very salty water. Apparently it's really good for the skin, but don't drink it. You will die of thirst.
Boy. All right. Good.
That's very Jewish to offer you like this luxury thing that could kill you.
Oh yes. No, I mean this entire thing is very Jewish.
Yes.
On multiple levels. The one guy commenting, Stu, also Jewish. So I mean, we really, the podcast is it's Oy on Vey. That one was funnier to me than it would be to anyone else. Okay.
I liked it, and that's the most important thing. We are each other's best viewer at the moment.
I appreciate it. Okay. So all right, here's an existential question. I was just dealing with this question from with somebody else. Cake frosting, yes or no?
Just frosting by itself?
Just overall.
Yeah.
Thoughts on cake frosting?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big fan of cake frosting. Big fan.
I was talking to someone yesterday, Laura Hayden. I think you know who it is.
Oh, I love Laura. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, no, I don't like cake frosting. And it's like, how do you? I'm sorry. What? What? I'm sorry. What? Excuse me. Now she went on to elaborate that she doesn't like the vast majority of cake frosting. She has very particular frosting taste, which I'll allow. But still, I have a wide margin of error on my frosting. I mean, but if there is no frosting, this is, how dare you?
That's not cake. That's bread.
Yeah, exactly. Cake
requires frosting. It's not cake.
No, it is. It's like a pound cake.
Right. Which is a total lie. It's pound bread. It's pound bread.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I can tell because my mom served it to me during the day. So
there's no way it's good for you. This is horrible. No, get this away from me. I want frosting on my cake.
No, yes, there has to be frosting.
I would have been very rude to your mom in that moment. I'm sorry. I just have to say.
The only thing I will say though is that if there's only frosting and no cake, and there's too much frosting, you could make a case where too much of a good thing can turn into not good thing.
Well, sure. Type 2 diabetes is a thing. And when we eat straight frosting, we're taking a risk. We're bringing ourselves one day closer to that diagnosis. But, there's also, we don't know how much life there is left. I don't know if you've been watching TV lately, but it's the kind of thing that makes you want to eat a lot of frosting.
I'm in 100% agreement. 100% agreement on that. All right. So what,
I have a question for you. Ice cream cake, yes or no?
I'm allergic to ice cream.
No, what? I didn't know that.
I'm lactose intolerant. So even is a roll of the dice, but ice cream hits harder.
I've never let that stop me. By the way, I had to credit my wife for that joke. She overheard the conversation. She's like, "That's never stopped you." And I'm like, I'm getting heckled. I'm getting heckled by my wife, even though she's not watching. She's working. She's being productive, and she still finds time to heckle the perfect joke at me. I love it.
But doesn't it feel good being heckled again? I mean, at least it
does. Yes, it does. I feel like I'm at a real show right now. There's two audience members and one verbally said, nah, 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 like something even funnier.
We're up to 3 now, by the way, not to brag.
Awesome. The 3 most important people on the planet.
All right. Okay. So, all right. So, you met Rachel. It is Rachel.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Did she keep the last name? Did she go with Feuerberg, or did she keep her name?
It's funny. She went with Feuerberg, and I was happy either way. Here's the thing: Rachel has her own business, and so I totally understood it. She was like, I have to maintain it for business. Professional speaking, yes, everything is still Cap, but she goes by Rachel Feuerberg now, and I respect whatever choice she wanted to make.
Okay. So from Cap to Feuerberg.
Hold on. I think I might have upset Rachel. What was that? I was happy that I had to clarify. I was very happy when she decided to go by Feuerberg.
to go with Feuerberg. All right. Now, speaking of Feuerberg, what's going on with the spelling of your name? Every single time I try to write it in Gmail so that it drops down, I forget there's an E, there's a U, there's another E. The hell? What the hell?
So my name actually, it's German, and I've always told people that it translates to Fire Mountain. That's actually a cover. It actually translates to "you can't spell," and the whole idea is to trick people into trying to spell the name. Basically, my name in and of itself is a conversation starter. Adam is my middle name. My first name's always been Joseph. So anytime I have to interact with anyone on a legal level or like on a professional level, I always have to say that it's Joseph, even because my paperwork says it's Joseph and my social security card says it's Joseph, but my parents wanted me to go by Adam. And so I always have to have start. And then Feuerberg, to throw that in, they couldn't just screw up my first and middle name. No, then I had to have the last name from hell. Literally is Fire Mountain. That means it's the last name from goddamn hell to spell. And not only that, we don't help anybody by mispronouncing it. We actually mispronounce it. It's not supposed to be Feuerberg. It's supposed to be Feuerberg. See how when you say Feuerberg, it makes sense to spell it F-E-U-E-R when you say Feuer. When you say Fur and you throw in all vowels, it's just like, man, fuck you. And I know that that's people are saying, I don't know if I should have said the F word there, but I said Feuerberg so much, I might as well drop the F-bomb.
Okay, first of all, Feuerberg, you found a way to take a Jewish last name and
make it Jewier.
Yes. Number two, even if you say Feuerberg, it's still I would immediately think F-O-Y-E-R. I wouldn't think
I would be more accepting of F-O-Y-E-R than all of the other operations that other people do.
Like, I think it makes more. The only way to pronounce it correctly is Feuerberg.
which gets a lot of Führer jokes. So like that's yeah. People make a lot of Hitler jokes about Feuerberg all the time.
Oh, by the way, Carol's watching, and
hi, Carol.
And Carol is kind of, I think she's having she says Adam, King of the Jews, and then she wrote King, and then of, and then the, and then Jews. So
yes. Oh, I'd love to explain this. So that was a joke started by Ryan Talmo at one of his shows. Probably maybe towards the right about a year ago, probably like last summer. He would just start bringing me on stage as the King of the Jews, and he would say every week on Thursday on Netflix, my special was going live, and he would say it every week. So every week, this Thursday at midnight, King of the Jews is going to be on Netflix, and it was so funny how many times people would believe that it was happening. They'd come like, "You have a Netflix special?" And then I would have to explain to them that it was just a joke, because if they frequented the open mics more, they would know that it was announced that was coming out every week. So it was fun to explain. And it was great because then I had to say, well, it's Joseph, but it's really Adam, and it's spelled F-E-U-E-R. And no, I don't have King of the Jews actually coming out this Thursday on Netflix. But thank you for thinking. Basically, my whole life is just me having to explain myself.
Well, which again is very Jewish.
Yeah, it is. People can't just accept me for me. I have to have an explanation.
Unbelievable, Adam. Unbelievable.
That's how I feel about myself. I can't accept me for me, and I have to give myself an explanation.
The name, it just every single time, like F. All right, let's see if I can see it on your screen. E-R-B-E-R-G. F-E-U-E-R. What the E-U-E? That doesn't happen in the English language.
Ask the Germans. I don't know how that happened.
That's Adam Feuerberg. Unbelievable.
You could step on, to say it, pronounce it correctly, you need to step on a Lego with a bare foot.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a human noise. Like, I think a cat could pronounce it. Do you have a cat?
I don't. I just have a dog.
Just have a dog. Okay. Did you ever have a cat?
My sister had a cat when we were kids, and one time it jumped out of a plant and attacked me. So
Out of a
not a big cat person after that.
It jumped out of a plant and attacked you.
Yeah, like it was hiding behind a plant, and I was playing with my toys, and I just like heard something, and then boom, just jumped out and knocked my glasses off my face.
I see. Well, you know, he was just practicing hunting.
Right. Yeah, she needed to hunt something, so why not the little human child?
Yeah, just don't take it personally.
You're the only human child, you know what I mean?
See, here's why I like cat. I like that cats don't really like me. It feels right.
You appreciate it. You really understand.
Yeah, it's just like I know, you know, the dogs. It's like, oh, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. They know I'm a food source, but as soon as that goes away, they're gonna summon all their friends. The pack. It's gonna be like the Gray all over again.
Good reference.
Thank you. Let's see. Yes, well that really made Carol happy. A lot of smiley faces there. A lot of smiley faces. So that I'm glad we covered the King of the Jews. I think now you're half Jewish, half Cuban, right?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Mom is from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm.
So really the name of the special, I think, should be the Latin King of the Jews, right?
Right. Well, that would be the offshoot. With Latinx. We have to be Latinx. We have to be all encompassing. The
Latinx King of the Jews.
Latinx. I like that actually.
There we go. Yes. I like
Rachel's. He has such a mind for business. She just said to do the Latinx Kings of the Jews, and I'm updating my social profiles as soon as this conversation is done. I'm very serious about this.
What does Rachel do?
Rachel is an educational therapist. She works with kids with like severe learning profiles, like a lot of ADHD kids, a lot of kids, maybe like on the more functional side of the autism spectrum. I don't know if she works with people like that, but I would imagine that it's those kinds of issues fall under her purview.
I got it. Well, here's a question that maybe you can pass over to Rachel. Not right now, if necessary, but let's say 12 or more people have asked you if you are autistic. Are you autistic?
What's the number accepted by the American Society of Autism?
Everybody's a little autistic.
Oh, I guess the understanding is that everybody's a little autistic.
Oh, really? That's okay. Well, I think I'm a little. I think the spectrum. Yes, that's what I keep hearing. The spectrum. Okay.
Yes. Not to be confused with Spectrum LA, the sports network.
No one was confused by that.
No, I was for a moment.
All right. What now? Do we know what the spectrum is? Like what? Like it? 1 to 100, 1 to 10.
Roy G. Biv, I think. That's a very stupid.
Oh, it's a color.
Yeah.
So if you're really, really autistic, that's like purple. But if you're mildly autistic, that's like a mother of pearl.
I honestly don't know how it all works, but I could definitely ask her a follow up.
How do you not know? She's the woman you love.
Here's the thing, Josh. I don't want to find out if really I've just been an experiment the whole time. I just want to live in a little bit of ignorance, knowing that one reason why she married me is that I'm the perfect case study. I don't want to know that.
I
too many questions.
I don't. You don't come off as autistic to me. I don't. I'm sorry.
You haven't seen me have a meltdown because there are times when I cannot communicate with anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say that we can't confuse autism with Judaism. But I will say it was interesting because I have obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety and depression, and I was like doing research and looking up one after the other, and so I looked up OCD, and it says higher percentage of OCD in Jewish populations, and then I looked up anxiety, higher percentage of anxiety in Jewish populations, and then I looked up depression, higher degree. So I'm beginning to I have a joke about this, but Judaism is a mental condition. That's what I'm gonna.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, dude. Like, yeah, we're a changed people.
Yes. Yes. I think you can't, it would be an interesting social experiment to take a Jewish baby, give them to non-Jewish parents, and see what that turns into. We got who went through that.
Just captain of the football team, goes to Harvard, succeeds in everything.
Or is it the other way around where it's like, boy, we don't understand why, but our little Charlie is just afraid of everything. Oh, the 23andMe came back. Ah, I see. He's Jewish.
I got it. That's where all the fear comes from.
All right. So I'm going to throw this out there. Oh, we're up to 6 viewers.
Ooh, hello, 6 people.
We're gaining momentum.
It's going up.
Or as I like to call it, Jewmentum. Let's see. Carol said, talk about cutting fruit. Well, Carol, we've been through that already. This is why you have to come in at the beginning of the thing.
Listen, I'll talk about cutting fruit again. Tune in tomorrow. I'm cutting a cantaloupe.
Yeah, Saturday. It's at
6 p.m. Pacific time.
Pacific Daylight Time. Careful.
I never remember. Is it daylight time now?
It is daylight time now. Yes.
Got it. Got it.
When we fall back, then it just goes back to Pacific time.
So technically, even though we call it standard time takes up less space in the calendar than daylight time.
I don't know where this conversation is going.
I think that standard time only lasts like 5 months.
Well, because they changed it, right? Didn't they extend it or something? George W. Bush changed it.
When are we going to give this up?
I don't know. Well, they said Garcetti and everyone in LA was furloughed. So I don't know if that means we don't even have a government right now. So maybe we.
Well, it feels like we haven't had one in a minute. So
no, I sent something to the DMV and I haven't heard anything. I have a feeling that piece of mail is sitting in an empty building.
Yikes.
At the bottom of a bunch of those, eye charts. Okay, Carol says when we fall back, it goes back to standard time. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Thank you, Carol.
All right. Any questions anyone has in the chat to Adam, just post it in the chat right here. And if I deem it appropriate, I will ask.
If you ask any Star Trek questions, I may get them correct. So if you have any trivia, let me know.
Let me tell you this. My friend bought me a Star Trek trivia game, and we were just going through and reading the questions, and they had a wrong answer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They asked, well, look, first of all, let's see if you can guess it. Which movie was Shinzon of Remus in?
Oh, he's in Nemesis.
The answer was Insurrection.
That's so wrong.
I know.
Oh my God. That's not like a little story.
No, that's a big issue.
That's a big mess up.
That's like saying Khan was in Search for Spock.
Right. No, this is not like a little minute detail of like an episode. This is one of the movies.
Who the hell is over there?
I want that person fired, and I want them to hire me because I need a job.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. Greg Gerson, the new Star Trek, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm all about it. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a mark. If it says Star Trek, I'm going to watch it. And I'm probably going to find something that I like about it. I can't necessarily say it's as good as everything else, but I will find something I like about it and focus on that. And it would be unfair for me to like go through and like review something because you're not going to get an honest review from me out of me. But if it does Star Trek, you're just not.
I like Discovery. I think it is a little. If I had to choose between that, I would rather take Picard.
I get that. Picard was much more muted.
Yeah.
And I remember people were complaining about that, and I was like, "Aren't you the same people that were complaining that Discovery was too big?" And even I was just like, at the end, I was like, "This is fun, but this is I'm on a roller coaster. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a great time." but they are making no qualms about building a roller coaster.
Well, I think the other issue, and I think they're addressing this in the Strange New Worlds, is Strange New Worlds is going to go back to, story of the week.
Right. Yeah. The episodic ship to planet to planet storyline, which I love. And for a second, I thought that's what Lower Decks was going to be. I'm glad that what Lower Decks is. I really love what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, you would eventually have to bring back that format to please the people who have been asking for it, but also it is one that works. Like it is fun. I still love going back and watching the old episodes, and I'm happy to get some new ones.
Yeah, that's and overall with serialization,
it worked for Deep Space Nine because the station was stationary. Like it literally was a station. So the idea of it being this revolving door for the rest of the universe made a lot of sense.
Yeah, they had to there, because I think around about season 2 or season 3, they went, nothing's happening. They're not coming through. They keep threatening to come through, but they're not.
Right. So
we'll get the Defiant, and then we can fly around, and the Defiant will be a badass ship until the episodes where it can't be.
Right. That's just good writing.
And then until it's defeated, and then it's not defeated. And then it's all they hear about is, we don't have enough supplies. We're not going to win the war. We don't have enough supplies. We're not going to win the war. Oh no, the Defiant's been destroyed. Here's another one.
What about all the supplies? Well, we sent them on the Defiant. Oh no.
Oh man. All right. What is okay, here's my question. My question is, what would you say is the nerdiest Star Trek related thing you've ever done?
Oh man.
Like if you had to pick, this is the nerdiest thing you've ever done, said, or seen, or what is it?
I mean, I love this, but Fathom Entertainment did that thing where they put the episodes in the theaters, and I went to the one where it was. I went twice. I saw when they put The Measure of a Man and Q Who in the theater.
Okay.
And then I saw when they did The Best of Both Worlds, they melded into a feature film and they put that in the theater. And it blew my goddamn face off. I'm so happy, smiling about it right now. This is a genuine smile, just thinking about that time. I totally paid money to watch a 15-year-old Star Trek episode in the theaters, and I loved it.
That doesn't. Okay, so that's. How do I feel about that? See, that strikes me as endearing and lovely.
And I saw it with friends who were super nerdy about it too. We were waiting for that, waiting, it was like a concert of our favorite band coming to town. It was a big deal to see Best of Both Worlds in the theater.
I gotcha. Okay, here's mine. I will watch on YouTube reviews of the ships.
Oh, okay. I know. Is it Trek Yards?
Yes, I've watched it. Yes.
Yes. I'm not the only one. I love it.
Yes, there we go. There's that one, and then the other, Junk Ball Media. I like that guy too.
Okay, yeah, I know Junk Ball. Yeah.
But my favorite moment on any of those episodes is where they get one of the actual designers, and they ask them, so when you were designing this ship, were you imagining that the Bussard collectors needed to be put in this way to increase the warp manifold? And then the guy pauses for a second. He thought, we just did what looked cool.
Yeah, I love the honesty when that happens. You're not gonna get an answer out of someone like that you're thinking, because that's not their goal was to get the job done and make it look cool.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't know.
When they ask an actor about it's a script thing, in this episode, did you feel like this? No, man, that's what those words on the page.
That's my favorite moment of just
talk about endearing. I do find moments like that very endearing and sweet.
All right, so we're it's been an hour. Adam.
Wow, man, this is why I love talking with you, Josh. It's really easy. You and I always have a good time.
It is, and maybe in another world or another dimension, if things were different, we could have met on J-Swipe.
Were you quoting Balance of Terror there?
Maybe. I've watched it so much, I probably am without even knowing it.
I love
it. Are there any upcoming shows you want to push? Anything?
See, do I have anything coming up? I want to check my calendar because I want to say I do. Of course, Adam Cuts Fruit is every Saturday at 6 p.m. on my on Facebook Live on my page, and then what is this? It goes live on my YouTube. I'm trying to get better about using my YouTube channel, so I think I need to collect some more episodes and I put them up there. I guess I don't have anything up at the moment, but something was going to bear to pop up. So nothing booked at the moment in terms of Zoom shows, but definitely check out Adam Cuts Fruit tomorrow at 6 on Facebook Live and every week.
Perfect. Well, we'll have to do something about that. I'll get you. I'll shoot you something. I'll get you.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I love working with you guys.
I'll hook you up. It'll be fun.
Thanks, bud.
From Flappers Wise, we're celebrating our 10th birthday with free virtual shows.
Happy birthday,
today
Flapper.
And tomorrow. 10 years. 10 years it's been. We've got Hal Sparks, who's live streaming in the main room, from the main room tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Actually, we're doing a really cool show. Next Friday is September 11th. And we're going to do a show for free admission for all first responders. It's a thank you to all the men and women and people who've sacrificed a lot to help the rest of us in this and all past tragedies. So there you go. Laughs on the 11th. That's what we're calling it. So yes, if you any first responders should just email tickets@flapperscomedy.com. We'll send you a link for that show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad that we had our cavalcade of guests. Not cavalcade of guests. There's one guest.
I'm a cavalcade. I like that. I'm the cavalcade.
Thank you, Adam Feuerberg, for stopping by. And that's been your one-on-one, or as I like to call it for this particular episode, your Oi on Vey.
Thank you, Josh.
Shalom, everybody.
Bye, everyone.